Imagine winning a war, not through years of fighting, but through one brilliant move. One strategy so clever that it completely changed the course of history. A single decision, set in motion with precision and nerve. A gamble that would outwit numbers, outlast force, and outmaneuver certainty. This is the story of winning a war, in one move, and how it was done. For most of human history, wars were long, brutal, and incredibly costly. Campaigns dragged on for months, and then for years. Supplies ran thin, tempers wore down, hope eroded, thousands of lives lost for inches of ground. Opposing forces matched, blow for blow. When strength met strength, the field froze. The human cost mounted without mercy, ledgers filled, families waited, letters never arrived. Stalemate is not just a line on a map, it is a trap in the mind. To escape it, something else was required. But sometimes, a single general changed everything. Leaders who measured victory not in bodies, but in ideas. Instead of relying on brute force, they relied on something far more powerful. Strategy. Strategy turns terrain into an ally, and time into a weapon. It asks, where are they blind? What do they assume? It listens to the ground, the weather, the rumour. It searches for seams where pressure opens paths. And when the moment appears, it chooses with clarity. Fix, flank, finish. Orders that seem simple, because they are focused. Execution demands speed and silence and absolute discipline. Night carries the plan into motion. The strategy was simple in theory, but incredibly difficult to execute. First, hold their gaze, pin their strength in place. Then, slip where they are not looking. Instead of attacking the enemy where they were strongest, the generals struck where they least expected it. Difficult terrain became a shield. Noise swallowed by river and wind, supplies trimmed to the bone, movement timed to shadows. Light is the first betrayal. Darkness, the first ally. On the front, a show of strength. Noise to drown intent. Deception is not a lie. It is a chorus of truths sung too loudly. And the enemy listens exactly as expected. Timing tightens, windows close, where hooves would slog, feet would flow. Every footprint is a message. None must be sent. The aim is not their pride, but their pulse. Strike the back of the mind, supplies, orders, escape. Shock where comfort sat. Panic where confidence slept. The enemy believed they were safe. Their defences were strong, their army was massive. But within hours, the situation completely collapsed. First, the arteries, roads, bridges, messages. Then the brain, orders lost, voices gone. Confusion outruns courage. Paths of escape become traps of panic. Pressure arrives from impossible directions. The ring closes. Units dissolve into clusters, clusters into crowds. Calm execution replaces frenzy. Know when to stop. A trap sprung tight needs no crushing. Resistance thins, and then surrenders. Signatures replace shots. Within hours, a war's balance tilts. Silence, the loudest sound of victory. Time itself seems to halt. The brilliant maneuver trapped the opposing army. What had seemed like an impossible war suddenly ended with a decisive victory. Guns taken, stores seized, lines restored. The weight lifts slowly and unevenly. A single move, and the board is new. News races farther than any cavalry. Perception changes first, and then history follows. Not triumphalism, relief. For some, survival is victory enough. A campaign closes, a lesson opens, a mark on paper becomes a mark on time. Students of war would study this for generations. The ground remembers. So do we. The strategy worked because it attacked the enemy's weakest point, their expectations. Terrain channeled sight and hid intent. Blind ground invites bold steps. Tempo turned distance into surprise. Noise drew attention. Silence drew opportunity. Cut the nerves and muscle fails. Clarity at the top becomes coherence below. And discipline carries the plan across risk. Deceive expectations, exploit terrain, control tempo. Create strength where it matters, not everywhere. That is the power of strategy. For centuries, military commanders studied this strategy. It became a lesson taught in war colleges across the world. Books carried it further than any banner. Each reader adds a thought, each era a twist. New names, old ideas, refined, reimagined. Principles endure as tools evolve. The pattern repeats, fix, flank, finish, adapted to the age. Preparation breeds the courage to try, and beyond war, the lesson travels into any contest of minds, because strategy is simply, you don't. History often remembers the biggest battles, but sometimes the greatest victories are won not by strength, but by intelligence. A single move can end a war, but only when it lights the right idea at the right time. Remember the lesson. Find the weak assumption and move, because the mind wins what muscle cannot.